Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my top 10 books that I've read so far this year, and then near the end I'm going to talk about a few books that really disappointed me so far this year that I was really looking forward to. These are in no particular order. I have a little bit of everything, and let's get started. So one of my favorite books so far this year is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This one I just recently finished like last week or maybe even just a couple days ago, and I've already moved on to the sequel. I absolutely love this one. I'm really annoyed that I put it off for so long. I don't know why. I got it when it first came out and I really only picked it up recently, like I said, and I have just been obsessed with it. I knew I was going to love it, so I'm not sure why it took me so long to get to it. Maybe because I had such high expectations, I was nervous that it was going to be a disappointment, but it definitely wasn't. It was everything I wanted and more. It has so many of the things that I like. There's so many aspects to this book that I love. So it's kind of just like a cozy fantasy, cozy magical realism. So we have our main character, Emily, and she studies like fae creatures and like fae folk. There's a bunch of different kinds and she studies them. She's known kind of as like a genius scholar, and she doesn't really get along with other people. She goes off on one of her field studies. A lot kind of happens, and then one of her colleagues, Wendell, shows up, and he's very like outgoing and loud and boisterous, and they kind of clash, but they also kind of even each other out. It's really cute to see their interactions. The magical elements with all the different fae folk and the lore was so cute and interesting. There's a ton of footnotes as well. I absolutely loved this, and I'm really liking the sequel as well. Another one that I absolutely loved was At First Spite, and this one was just so cute. We have our main character Athena, and she's engaged to Johnny. However, she overhears Johnny and his brother Matthew talking at their engagement party in like some sketchy little corner, and Matthew, his older brother, is telling Johnny to break off the engagement because he doesn't think Athena is good enough for him and all these other like awful things that he says. And there's like some other turn of events, but she basically has to stay in this town that she moved to for Johnny recently, and she's in this house which is extremely close to Matthew, the older brother's house. They're like right directly beside each other, and she kind of decides to make him like uncomfortable as like a funny thing for herself, and she just kind of wants to get back at him for breaking up her engagement. It's a really cute story. I absolutely loved it. The meaning of the title is really cute because she moves into this house that's called the Spite House, and there's a whole like history description of why it's called that, but I think it's super cute and how she wound up there. And I would really recommend this one if you like romance. The next one I have was one that I really wasn't sure if I was going to like, and that is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. So normally I would love this genre and this storyline, but I had not read an Ali Hazelwood before this. I was really nervous because her other books, I don't know, I think I would probably like them. They don't really interest me as like a plot. This one was her first fantasy, and I really loved this one. So we have Misery, and she is a vampire, and she's raised in the human world as like collateral for the vampire species, because there's the vampire, the wares, and the humans. And Misery, I think she's like in her late 20s now, and she is sent to the wares as someone's like bride. It kind of just goes from there. I really liked it. I was not expecting to, especially after like I saw some hints at some of the plot points, but I really liked it, and I'm really excited and hoping that there is a book too. So another one that I absolutely loved was The 7-Year Slip, and this one is a romance with a bit of like magical realism aspects to it. Well, not a bit, it's like a lot of it is like a magical realism aspect. Basically, this apartment that her aunt owned before she passed away passed down and given to Clementine, and this apartment is magical. It can like time travel 7 years in the past and the future, I think. I don't know. You can walk into it and it can be like 7 years difference in time, but you can't like decide when to do it. You just like get home and you walk in and you'll find out if the apartment is 7 years different or if it's present day. In this one, Clementine comes home one day and she doesn't know about this time travel thing when she moves into this apartment. She walks in and there's like this random man in her apartment. All the furnishing and everything is the same as when her aunt lived there. The guy says like, oh, your aunt said I could stay here for the summer, and it just kind of goes from there. It's super fun. There's like a ton of laugh out loud moments. The romance is super cute. I loved our main characters, and I would just really recommend this one. Immediately after this one, I read The Dead Romantics, and I absolutely loved that one too. That one was really cute. I would probably actually add it to this list. But yeah, that one also is just very cute. The next one that I really loved is Listen for the Lie, and this one was really good. It's a thriller, and there is like a podcast element to it, which I love in thrillers. We have a main character, Lucy, and she was accused of killing her best friend like years prior. She doesn't remember what happened that night, and she just kind of came to and she was covered in her best friend's blood. Fast forward a few years and she's moved out of her small town where everyone thinks she's done it, but there's not enough like evidence or proof to do anything about it, but she's just kind of known in her small town as like the person that killed Savvy, her best friend. And then a guy with a podcast contacts her because he's going to be investigating the mysterious death of Savvy. She has like no interest in it, but somehow she starts working with him. It's really interesting to see it unfold, and you're figuring out what happened that night at the same time as Lucy because she doesn't remember. That part was really fun. Lucy was a really fun main character. She's very sassy and sarcastic, so that led to like a lot of funny dialogue, which I really like. Overall, this one was just a very good time. This next one is a YA, and it is the no girlfriend rule, and this one was really cute. I was not expecting to like this one as much as I did. I just thought it was like the most adorable thing. Our main character Hollis is like a fat anxious girly, and she is just so cool. I love her. I'm not gonna go super into detail because I did just talk about this one in a different video. She wants to learn how to play Secrets and Sorcery, which is this book's version of Dungeons and Dragons. She is not allowed to play with her boyfriend and his friends because of the no girlfriend rule. So she finds these girls that want to make a team and she plays with them. She kind of comes out of her shell. She stops being so anxious. She makes new friends, and it's a really lovely story, and it also has some really cute moments, some really relatable moments as well for me, especially with anxiety. I just really love this one. This next one probably isn't a surprise, but it's House of Flame and Shadow, which is Crescent City 3, and this one I loved so much. There were definitely parts of it that annoyed me, but I just could not wait. I think we waited like 2 years for this one after the second, and I was just so excited. I just love this so much, and I don't really want to talk about it just because there is so much. I really don't want to slip up and say something that ends up being a spoiler to someone or ruins it for someone. So basically this is just Crescent City 3. It's an urban fantasy because it does have some like real world things like guns, clubs, parties, etc. I really love this one. I love the series. I love everything about this, and yeah. The next one that I really enjoyed was No One Can Know. This one, there's 3 sisters, and when they were younger, their parents were like brutally murdered in their house, and it's always been like a mystery of what happened. We get different points of view between the 3 sisters and different timelines. And I don't want to say too much just because it is really fun if you go into it not really knowing anything, except for the fact that there's these 3 sisters. Their small town always thought that they had something to do with their parents' murder, or at least one of them. The author that wrote What Lies in the Woods, and I also enjoyed that one, and this one like did not disappoint me at all. This next one I loved so much, and that is Yours Truly. This one I hold so near and dear to my heart now because I just absolutely love it. It's a romance. We have our 2 main characters, Brianna and Jacob, and they are just so cute. Jacob has really bad anxiety, and throughout the book Brianna is like figuring out how to deal with it and how to help him with it like as friends. And there's like a fake dating trope in here. I just absolutely love this book so much. I can't wait to read more from Abby Jimenez. The next one I have is Happy Place, and this one is so cute. If Harriet and Wynn, and every year their group of friends from college go on this beach trip. They're going again this year. The only thing is they broke up 5 months ago and their friends don't know, and they're kind of scared to tell them. They don't want to like ruin the friendship dynamic. They still go on this trip and they haven't seen each other in 5 months, and it's full of awkward moments, tense moments, cute moments. And this one was just so fun to read. So the next one I have is Spells for Forgetting, and this one is magical realism. We have our 2 main characters, Emery and August. They're from a small island off the coast of Seattle that is thought by like mainlanders to be like kind of witchy and spooky and all that kind of stuff. A long time ago, Emery's best friend was found dead, and everyone thought that August had done it. And so he's kind of run off the island with his mom. They kind of flee because everyone thinks he's done it. There's nothing to prove that he did it though, and that was like way in the past. So now at present day, and he has to go back to spread his mom's ashes on this island. That kind of causes a ruckus and a stir. Emery is still on the island, and then we have the mystery of what happened to her best friend if it wasn't August. I really like this one. I really want to read it after I read The Unmaking of June Farrow, also by the same author, and this one did not disappoint as a follow-up for me, and I would really recommend it. I just realized I think I said 11 books and not 10. That's fine. We're just gonna kind of go with it. I have 3 books that were kind of disappointing to me. One of them is the newest Finley Donovan, unfortunately. It's the 4th one in the series. Although there is a novella between the 3rd and the 4th. This one I think is just a case of there are too many, and it's kind of just like, what could possibly be happening now. I loved the first, I liked the second, I enjoyed the third, the novella was cute. This one just was over the top, even more so than Finley Donovan normally is, and I just really didn't like it, and I was so disappointed because I had really high hopes for it. I heard there's going to be a 5th and a 6th, and I just don't know what else could happen that seems in the realm of like possibility or just not even like annoying. I don't know. I will definitely read the 5th, but I'm not expecting that I'm going to love it. The next one makes me so sad to say, but it was Two Twisted Crowns, and this one is the sequel in the Shepherd King series, so it follows One Dark Window. It's a duology. I loved One Dark Window. Two Twisted Crowns took me like, I don't know, 7+ months to read through from start to finish and finally finish it. I only finished it like very recently, and I started it in the summer. I just did not love this one. It was such a slog for me. I just didn't care, and I just thought it was, I don't know, I just really didn't like this one, and I was so disappointed because I loved One Dark Window. And lastly, I have In 5 Years, and this one was so disappointing for me just because there was like a surprise aspect to the plot that I was not expecting, and I hated it, and it was a very large part of the plot, and I actually really hated it. And after the first, like, I don't know, 15 to 20%, the book took such a wild turn from what I was expecting based on the synopsis and how it had been going in that direction up until that point. So I was so ready to love this one. I was loving it for the first while. I was telling my friends like how much I was loving it, and then I hit a certain point and I was like, just kidding, I don't love this anymore. I couldn't finish it, and I had to get my friend to tell me how it ended. I stopped. I think I only had like 30 pages left, but I knew I was gonna be like destroyed by the ending in an awful way. So I just had my friend tell me what happened, and I'm so happy I didn't actually finish it. So yeah. So those are my top 10 or 11 books of the year so far, and 3 books that disappointed me the most so far this year. I'm actually having like a very good reading year in terms of what I'm liking and how I'm exploring different genres. Like I just got into romance, and so many of these were romance or had like a heavy romance plot. I'm very excited about that, and I'm super excited to see what happens for the rest of the year in terms of what books I find and which ones I love. And let me know what your favorite read so far has been in 2024, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.